you so much for an awesome introduction. Good
You're welcome.
evening, everybody. Good evening, Dr. Allo. I know you're on the call. Good evening, all. Because of how my screen is formatted, I can't actually see all individuals, but um, we'll get on to it. So I'm Bernadette, and today we're just going to have a conversation about setting ourselves up for success this academical year. So the theme was gearing up for the new academical year. It's the 8th month, and on the 9th month we start to immerse ourselves into a new journey of learning, a new 9-month journey of another learning and of achievements um of sorry, I've got my baby who's joined me as well for the presentation today. So if you see me um, chatting back and forth, is because she's on my lap and she will want to be part of this presentation as well. So just congratulations to our young people who have just received their GCSE results just the Thursday gone. Well done, well done. No matter what that result was, no matter how forward or shocked or happy you are, it is still congratulations. You've been through a whole year of learning, of achieving, of just engrossed in your achievements, basically engrossed in the process of receiving your general certificate of secondary education, whether it's your first time, your second time. Well done to you for going through that. Okay, and also congratulations to the A-level students or every other student that has just gone through a year of studying. Okay, so we'll start the slides and let's see how we get on today. If you do have any comments or any questions impromptu, or I say something that's aloof and that you do not understand, please feel free to use the chat box. I will be checking that as I go along. Okay, Mr. Ernest, off you go if you can share. I think I'll be able to see it as you share it. Thank you. So our path to a successful year will look something like this, especially in this session. We are going to sort of look and reflect on the past year, sort of using it as our rare window, so to speak. So we are going to look backwards a bit and look at how well we did last year, look back on our accomplishments, on our growth, just sort of check and balance things that we liked and we didn't like. And then we'll head on to planning and organizing, so to speak, setting goals, and looking about how we can manage our time effectively in this new year. And then we'll talk about how we can be our optimum self, whereas staying healthy and building those habits that we want to use in this new year. Okay, so our path to a successful year is going to look at these 4 points, and I hope I do it justice. As I said, please ask questions and do contribute if you do feel like there is something that you could have added to that or that would help somebody else as we have this conversation this evening. Okay, so let's look at how we can reflect. I will like us to be interactive, like us to engage more. So when we do reflect and celebrate or reflect on our past year, I am going to be asking a couple of questions. And so I would like some activity in the chat box. You can put your hand up if you want to speak, if you want to share when that time comes. Please make use of your chat box, okay? So my first thing when we look at, when we reflect on our past year, is we're focusing on, our accomplishments. We're celebrating how far we've come. We're not looking necessarily to see them to think about. Obviously, when we look at accomplishments and look at how far we've come, naturally we'll start to see what we could have done better. Okay, we're intentionally looking back to help us see how we can carry those things that worked well for us, those things that helped us this year, and keep them, but also looking back to see how we you know, how we can better grow ourselves, how we can grow further. Apologies. Okay. So my first question to us this evening would be, is who's that one key person that was of great impact to us this past year? Was it a parent? Was it a friend? A teacher, a tutor, a coach, or any other? Think about that person quickly and talk to me quickly. Who was that person that impacted you the most this year? And I'm going to be looking at that. I am not going to move on until I get some response. So whether it was a friend, a parent, a friend, I see a friend, a parent. Okay, I see a friend. Whoever's made that impact on us, we're going to take a moment to write a note of thanks to them. Okay, so thank you for specifically doing this for me this year. I'm grateful that you did this and that for me this year. Okay, so we've identified who they were. They were a friend, a teacher. I see another one in the chat box. A coach. Okay, a coach, whoever they were. Can you take a moment now to write a thank you note? And it'll be great if they do get that thank you note. Okay. It'll be great if they get that thank you note, because again, you're reflecting, and this is going to stay with you because it impacted you. You're reflecting on what went well and the people that made you, that allowed you to do these things well, or enabled you to do these things well. So ensure that you are grateful. So a note of gratitude is always good. Please always do this. Coach, thank you. Okay, so once you've written your note of gratitude, of course, put it to the side. Ensure that a sister, oh, thank you, a sister, well done. Ensure that that person gets that thank you note. You know, ensure that they get it. I mean, it's one exercise to write it down, fantastic exercise to write it down, because then you're showing gratitude, you're making note of that, what you're grateful for, but ensure that they get it as well, because they will in turn reflect on how growth has come about, their actions. Okay, so we're going to also look at some personal reflections. I'm going to read from my notes because I think I'm having trouble reading from the slides directly. So I want you to think about, young people, I want you to think about how have you grown and matured in the past year? Where were you in September 2024 and where are you now, August 2025? How have you grown and matured? What skills have you learned? What skills have you developed? What challenges have you overcome? Again, these are reflective questions for you to think. You can continue to do this in your own time. Ensure that you always reflect in order to plan forward. We have to always look back and see what went well and how we have grown. And, you know, it just helps in also pinpointing all our accomplishments and achievements, because there is no way we would have gone through 10 months without growth. Okay, there is no way we would have gone through 10 months without growth. We're always growing, we're always learning, and we're always achieving, regardless of how small it is. So how have you grown and matured? What skills have you developed? What challenges have you overcome? So that is personal reflections in your own time, definitely in your own time. I don't want the answers now, but what I do want you to do whilst we speak today, okay, is identify three things. One that you would keep for this new year, and one thing that you would stop doing that you did in your last school year, and one thing that you will start doing. Okay. So one thing you would keep, one thing that you will stop doing, and one thing that you'll start doing. Okay. So for example, one thing I'm going to keep in this year is ensure that I'm using my time wisely. I am planning every minute because I see that it works. One thing I started in the previous year was, and it sounds so simple, but I never ever did a daily to-do list. And so I started doing it whilst I was on maternity, and I realized it helped me so much to use my days properly because I had so much free time. I was I was allowing days to go past and not achieving as much. Time is such a precious thing that you can't just let it go by. So I started to write, today I'm going to make dinner at 10 o'clock in the morning, or planned it at 10 o'clock. And then it then transitions to when I would go on holiday, I would plan on the 20th, I'm going to do this, and I would list it out. And it helped me greatly. My last vacation, not vacation, I mean my last vacation was um um Egypt. I didn't do a to-do list for that. It was just impromptu. But the one before that, I remember planning every single day and just ticking off the things that I completed. Gave me such boost. It encouraged me. It gave me confidence that this was not only that it was working, but I'd started a new skill. As simple as it was. Everyone does a to-do list, but I've never done a daily to-do list. So I do a general, a month. I want to achieve this in a month, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Just being specific about the nitty-gritty, breaking down different things that we want to achieve. Okay, so can I have some feedback on? Apologies. Can I have some feedback on those things that worked for us in the past year that we want to keep? What is it, like I've just shared, some feedback. So if there's anyone who wants to speak to us, put your hand up. If there's anyone who just wants to put it in the chat box so we can learn from you. I've just shared that my daily to-do list, just little things that I want to achieve in a day, helped me greatly in the last year. Okay, so I'll wait for some feedback for that. Wait in the chat box. Anything that you'd like to keep from the previous late that worked for you? Something that went well, that worked well. Again, I can't move on until you talk to me. I know there are people who are listening in, I can see. So, what is that one thing you're going to keep that helped you from the last year, from the previous year?
Okay. So for me, it's going to bed earlier.
Ah.
Yes, I used to be like a night owl. And every now and again, I still go to bed a bit late. But I think just having a good night's sleep has been really helpful for me.
Fantastic. And you're going to keep that in this new year
I'm
from
trying
September,
to.
definitely.
Yes, I
So,
am going to.
so in what little ways did it help you? Obviously, apart from waking up early, because you would have done that anyway if you went to bed to bed late. In what ways did it help you achieve, be more productive in the previous year, going to bed?
I felt like less foggy, like mentally,
Mm,
just being physically more alert, and then having more time to have my quiet time as well
mm,
before the busyness of the world. So just having
mm.
time for a proper meditation, feeling physically better, not as like heady and just off foggy up there.
Fantastic. Well done. Thank you, Dr. Allah, for sharing with us. Okay, so that's one thing we're going to keep. And next thing we're going to do, obviously, we can do this in our own time just because of time. Obviously, one thing that we're going to stop doing. Okay, what am I going to stop doing? In fact, what I'm going to stop doing is something that Dr. Allah just shared. I'm a night owl as well. I need to go to bed earlier, but we'll leave that for another day. And something we're going to start doing. What am I going to start doing? I don't want us to think about what we're going to stop doing as something we're going to start doing. Okay, it's got to be something new that will benefit us in achieving great success this year. Okay, so again, let's reflect. So we'll move on. We'll move on now to celebrating ourselves, who we are. Thank you. Who we are, how far we've come, and the potential that is yet to be. Okay, we are reflecting and looking back, not because we want to wallow in pain. I want us to be able to reclaim our joy by just looking back. Yeah, who we are is enough to be celebrated. We've acknowledged your unique identity, acknowledge your unique strength, because you do have strength. You've gone through one academical year. Okay, that takes a lot of strength. That takes a lot of it's an accomplishment in itself. Okay, and how far we've come. Like I said, there has been growth. There is no way we've lived 10 months going through a certain program, going through a certain scheme of work and not grown. Right. We also will celebrate what is yet to come, what we're yet to achieve. Okay, and that really leads us nicely into our setting goals. Okay, in this session. If you have any questions, please make sure you are free to ask it. If you don't want to speak to us, you can just put in the chat box so that we can tackle those questions. Okay, I know that we've done this before, especially if you've been through the educational system in the UK. We have all had SMART goals. We've all been introduced to SMART goals, but it's important to always revisit goals. As I said, to-do list can be said to be goals for the day. Okay, so they can be as huge or big. It can be as huge or small. They can be minute, but it moves you from one place to another. Okay. So I'll just wait till she turns down. Okay. So goals really matter because setting goals is like having like a map for our journey ahead. Without them, we are sort of wandering. You know, we're just going around in a circle sometimes. There isn't a clear destination. It's like our sat nav to get into our clear destination. With them, we have clear destination. We have clear steps. Just bear with me one moment. She just dropped her phone. Okay. So some tips to making it being specific. So rather than saying things like, I want to do well in school this year, or I want to do well in my program this year, something you'd like to say would be, maybe I want to improve my grades in maths this year. Okay. Or I want to be more punctual to school this year. I want to attend all my lectures this year. Be specific. Be specific. Obviously, make it measurable. We're looking at the next 9 months, so that's measurable in itself. But also, you want to be able to see that you've reached your goal. Think about setting targets, like achieving a certain score in maths. So I want to be able to score 92% and above. I want a grade 7. If you are retaking your GCSEs this year, again, you might want to improve those grades. Or if you're going on to university this year, you might want to say to yourself, I want to improve my writing skills in this manner. And so I want to be able to score this grade and that grade, okay? You want to be able to set targets and meet them, okay? Make it measurable. Or you want to hand in, whether it's you want to hand in assignments on deadlines. I mean, that's a key one for university students. You don't want to be making up stories about getting creating circumstances or getting some excuses. You want to be hitting your deadlines and attending classes. That is a measurable goal. Okay. Stay realistic. Of course, I find that when we do smart goals and we're saying stay realistic, people are like, well, what's the point of dreaming then? Goals are not dreams. Okay. The reason why it's specific and measurable is because we want you to have to actually build, to be able to break it down into steps that you can take into achieving that big dream. Okay. So it's not, oh, I want to be a lawyer in 3 years. No, we're talking about the next 9 months. Okay. So aim high, but please make sure your goals are achievable. Now I've got a vision board up as well on there, and it's very important. One minute. Vision boards are important. I find it's important that when you see your I was about to use dreams. When you see your goals in picture form and you're looking at it all the time, you're able to see it more, and you're able to say to yourself, I need to make the steps to make it happen. I want to implore everyone listening to me that vision boards is the way to go. Ensure that you have that thing you want to achieve in the next 9 months up on your wall, on your phone, in front of your planners, in front of your calendars, are the foremost of your thoughts this year that you want to achieve. Okay. Let's move on quickly into organizing our time this year. The time management is everything. And I don't say that lightly, because till we're old and grey, time management will be a thing. Okay. It is the power behind planning, time management. The better we organize our time, the more productive we'll be. Okay, so whether we want to use a planner or calendar, it's important. It's so funny that when I don't know what's like in primary school, but in secondary schools, when students start in year 7, we give them a planner, and a lot of the times, especially me as myself as a teacher, I'm really, really hot on planners. When students don't use their planners properly, you can see in their daily life, in their student life, in their school life, how unorganized they can become, because then they don't write their homeworks, they don't know what class they have, they don't know where to go. Calendars are important, timetables are important, time management is important. Just having that digital paper to organize yourself down every day is key. Okay, so have a place to track your deadlines, your tests and projects that can help you keep things in check. Ensure that you are utilizing every tool to organize yourself. Okay, obviously calendars give us the days, but then break it down in times. Ensure that you are incorporating those goals that you've set into your daily life. It is time management. Okay, break tasks into steps. Big projects can also they can feel very overwhelming, and if we don't break them into smaller steps, then they can't be manageable. We want them to be manageable. We want to achieve them. Okay, make them manageable. And I'm talking to myself as I talk to you. Avoid procrastination. Oh, procrastination, definitely the enemy of success, the enemy of achievements, the enemy of accomplishments. If we start early, we pace ourselves. I'm telling myself that all the time. Okay. Procrastination, don't leave it to later. I'll do that later. Oh, I've got time for it. No, if you haven't planned the time for it, you are going to fail at it. Okay. Any questions at this point before we move on? Let me check. Oh, I think I missed this. Listening well to conversations before commenting. What is this? Oh, that was a personal reflection. Thank you. Thank you very much. A person listening well to conversations before commenting. That's a good one. Okay, any questions? If you do have any questions, please do feel free to ask. I will move on. Another thing I want to implore our young people on call this evening, this fine Sunday evening, would be to stay healthy. Mind, body, and soul. Stay healthy. It sounds so simple, but as Dr. Alice shared with us earlier, sleep. Sleeping early ensures that she doesn't get that foggy head. You know, sleep sleep is where you rejuvenate, is where your brain rests. You need to aim to have 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. And I know it's so common for students not to sleep, especially when you're older, when you're doing your A levels or you're doing your GCSEs or you're doing your writing your dissertations, that we tend to burn the midnight oil, but you're not as productive as you want to be. Those who burn the midnight oil is because they've left it till very late. They have procrastinated. We want to aim not to procrastinate this year. Okay, so please aim to sleep for 7 to 9 hours each night. It recharges your brain and your body. Yeah, I can't say any more. Exercise. So I'm not a gym body myself, but even if it's just going for a walk, doing a workout, just dancing around your room, keep yourself active. Physical activity helps reduce stress and also boost the brain's function. Our brain is important when we are studying as students. We need to ensure that we're utilizing, well, we're helping, enabling our brain to function for us. Okay, and then nutrition, eat well, balance meals, stay hydrated. Your brain needs food to work its best. Notice that all three things are targeting your brain. Your brain is your engine, is the engine that actually helps your body in this new year. Okay, so let's take care of it. Sleep, exercise, and eat well. Also, what we want to do in this new year is build strong study habits. If we are going to gear ourselves to be successful this year, we are going to build strong study habits. Okay. We're going to study smart. I want to say study smart and not hard, but I don't believe in that. You study smart and hard, please. Because it's those who study smart and hard that achieve the goals. Okay, focus on quality over quantity. Okay, that is true. So when we're talking about study smart and not hard, it's because we're saying quality over quantity. So not doing a range of things whilst you're studying. Focus. Again, planning will help in that. If you plan that, I'm going to math again. If you're planning that today, I'm going to revise on my algebra, and then tomorrow I'll revise on my what's another topic in maths, in my multiples, I don't know, different topics. Quality over quantity. So ensure that you're breaking these tasks down into manageable steps to achieving that goal. Active learning. So one way we want to build strong study habits is active learning. Try techniques like summarizing, teaching others using flashcards, Obviously, when we're building strong study habits, you want to ensure that you have study buddies as well. And I say ensure because you do have to have different styles of studying to be able to have that strong habit long term. You know, you don't want to be monotonous in the way you study. Can't be the same way all the time. If you're anything like me, you'll probably get bored. So ensure that you have active learning techniques, different ways in which you learn things. Okay, summarize, use flashcards, revise, even just reading your textbook one day, answering questions, doing past exam papers, things like that. Just be an active learner and use different active learning techniques. There is no building strong study habits without setting aside study time. Consistency is key, honestly. Set specific time each day, whether it's an hour a day, to focus on your schoolwork, to focus on that topic, on that subject. You know, consistency. If you do it an hour every day, or half an hour every day, or 15 minutes every day, 7 days a week, you will see a difference. You will see a difference. You need to set time out to study daily, weekly, what have you. As long as it's consistent, you will be able to set yourself up for success this year. Environment also matters. In building strong study habits, your environment is key. Are you going to the learning center? You go into the study group, so you go into the student study center. Are you studying in your room? Is your room conducive? Do you have a proper desk in which you can learn? Are you just environments do truly matter when we're building strong study habits. So just mark or set your environments to enable you to study well. Okay. I'm going to pause again for questions or comments if we have any. I need to rush through actually. Should have been looking at my time. Okay, we'll go. So young people, I want you to stay motivated. It can seem like I've said a lot of things today, and it can seem that some of us are not good at certain things. Even as I talked to you this evening, things like procrastination and time management is something even past my my teenage years or my university years, I'm still working on. So it's never too late. I want you to stay motivated, please. Please celebrate your small wins. Every step forward is progress. Every step forward is progress. Celebrate small victories along the way to keep you motivated. Nothing is too small. Another thing I want to leave you with this evening is please find your why. Find your why. Why is it you are studying what you're studying? Whether it's to build a future career, whether it's to achieve personal goals or something else, keeping the bigger picture in mind can push you through those tough times. Okay. What is your why? What is your why? Why am I doing this? Ensure that you're always reminding yourself of that. Okay. So my final thoughts before you go this evening. At the start of a new academical year, there's always a chance to reset and improve. Okay, so at this point, the 8th month of the year, we are resting, rejuvenating, and planning for the new year. Next year, next year, September, you're resetting yourself to improve with clear goals, a solid plan, and healthy habits. Okay, you'll be on your way to success in no time. Young people, please stay focused, stay positive, and most importantly, enjoy the process. You are on the right track. Thank you.
Wow, really amazing. Thank you so, so much for such an insightful session. You broke things down in such a practical way. We really appreciate the depth of your experience, and you've tailored today's session to prepare us for the new academic year. Thank you so much, Ma. You really did a great job with our little baby beside you.
Thank you.
At this point, we'll move into the question and answer session to engage further with what you've shared. We know our participants have been inspired, so let's take a few questions to dive deeper. So at this moment, I encourage us all to feel free to ask our questions. Well, I think I'll be going first. I have two questions for you, ma'am. The first one is, how can parents and teachers best support students in balancing academics, extracurriculars, and personal well-being throughout the year? So, or do I go with the second one or one at a time?
And maybe I'll do one at a time so I don't forget. So how do teachers help? I think teachers help in how, well, the school system helps in that obviously things are timetabled. So study times are timetabled, lessons are timetables. Teachers have the skill and the schema work to impact students on what they're supposed to know. Then there's extracurricular activities, which are timetabled. The way parents should really help is please encourage young people to use their time wisely. So sleeping on time so that you can have that full day of lessons, to have that full day of lessons and extracurricular activities that has been prepared by the school will be an achievement, because you cannot sit through 5 lessons a day and not learn something and not move you, like I said, progress towards your goal. So parents really are who should be doing most of the work, because teachers are there and are going to do what they have to do because we want the students to do well. But parents need to help our young people. They need so much. They need a good support system to help them in achieving in this new academical year.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, the second one will be, from your experience, what are the biggest mistakes students make at the start of a new school year, and how can they avoid them?
First mistake is not being prepared. So not being prepared. You should really start the year geared up to tackle the year prepared, prepared with your planner, prepared with what you want to achieve, with your goals, prepared to have put things in place to get you on time to school, to get you on time to lectures, not what you're doing, research on the, because again, from secondary school level to A levels to university levels, things are planned ahead. And now we're progressing to the point in the education system where things are already on your Google Drive. You know what the assignment is from the first day you start school. You know what your coursework is. So I think students should be more, what's the word? I don't want, not innovative, but with more lack of vocabulary. Be more, just be more hungry and just, I don't know, go in with tenacity and just achieve. Yeah, I can't remember the word I'm trying to use, but yeah, they need to be prepared to go.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You've done really great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so, so much for taking the time to answer all these questions. Do we still have any other question, please? Okay,
I'll make a comment.
all right.
Uh, I just wanted to add, High Flyers is for students from the ages of 16. And I think one of the things that might be a shock to some of them, particularly those who are starting year 12, is so much free time on their timetables. So they've gone from having 8 GCSE subjects they've had to study for to either having 3 for A levels or 6 for their IB. So there's just all this free time left on their timetable, which is why what you said about time management is really key, and being able to slot in things to do during those free times and just being their own internal sense of authority and routine would actually make a big difference. And the second thing I wanted to add was I think that these days a lot of our teenagers and young people are really distracted a lot. Like just even judging from the GCSE results and the numbers that had to do receipts. And I was just wondering why that high number of receipts. So I think there's a lot of, I mean, amongst other reasons, there's a lot of distractions, just being on the on their device a whole lot and not doing what they ought to do on their device. I just want to encourage our young people because this is live streamed on YouTube, and we're going to share the link as well to really minimize how much time you spend. Actually, you waste on your device. There's so people are making money on their devices. You don't want to be spending unnecessary time on your devices. Like really put in the hard work now. It definitely pays off later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
O.
Thank you so much, ma'am. They're always coming in with new and expanding on what has been built on. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think with this, I'll be handing over to Mr. Ennis to close us out.
All right, thank you, Roma. Not really to close out because I wanted to even ask that question that Dr. Alo just touched on now. Like, how can we really help these children to manage this distraction from social media? Just like she has rightly spotted. So I wanted to throw that question to Ms. Benedict to, kind of give us some from my experience, how do you think these children can cope? I know doctor has said they can minimize access and all of this distraction, but I really wanted to ask that question. And also, what would you say to a student, having to, experience a new subject for the first time, going into a new grade, and then they maybe for the first time they start doing chemistry, for example, or further maths, and they encounter a new teacher. Sometimes there's this shock, there's this overwhelm, like, oh, I'm not prepared for this, So from your experience, what would you say to such a student in order to help them, ease into such situation better?
Okay, I strongly believe in student-teacher relationship being one of the key things a student where a student can excel. Relationship between a student and teacher needs to be amicable. It needs to be good for a student to be able to learn appropriately. So the way a student can, because obviously we can't speak to teachers at the moment, is ensure that you are communicating effectively with your teacher. Okay, I'm struggling with this. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Mr. Adam. Okay, when you taught us algebra last year or last week, I struggled with this, that, and that. Use your emails. I mean, we're over 16 now, so the institutions that our young people will be part of, they would have emails. Use your emails. Communicate effectively with your teachers. That is their day job. Those teachers are employed to help you. So ensure that you are communicating effectively with your teachers. Say, I'm struggling with this, or I need your help with this. Please help me. I don't know of one single teacher who would not help a student who's struggling, or a student who's voiced that they're struggling or they need help. And of course, things can be overwhelming, and teachers should be able to help you break it down. So I think communicate with your teachers. Tell them what's going on with you, so they can help you. The previous question before that, social media. Now, at 16 plus, parents should have taken hold of that before 16 plus. Okay, I think I know before the age of 16, probably parents would have had control over how much time their child spends on social media or on their phones or on their devices. And I think if that's managed properly, the child then grows up to know how to manage their time on social media properly. I personally, I mean, it's not just young people that are struggling with it. Adults are struggling with it as well. So I personally have taken all my social medias off my main phone, and so I have to log in each time I go into social media just to help me be more productive and be more effective in my time. So young people should really be the authority in their own lives right now and say to themselves, I need to study for chemistry tomorrow. I'm not going to spend an hour on Instagram or scrolling through Facebook. Okay. I'm going to take that off and ensure that I can focus. I mean, by all means, timetable your social media time. There are things, I think there's stop times on phones now to help us time how much time we're spending on social media. Say to yourself, young people, I just want to spend an hour a day on social media. I think, and I know an hour is a lot, but for someone who spends 13 hours on social media, if they say, I just want to spend an hour a day on social media and that's all I want to do, that's a step. I think young people need to own this now and help themselves. It's part of planning and managing their time properly. Say to themselves, I don't want to spend a lot of time on social media so I can be more productive.
Thank you very much, Ma, for doing justice to that question. I know there is also this bit of them staying connected. They want to stay in touch with their friends. They don't want to feel cut off. They don't want to feel left out. They don't want to be isolated. They feel like that connection, that presence in social media. So I guess there should be other activities, other things they could get themselves engaged with rather than trying to part and all of that. You want to add to that, Ma?
I mean, so I remember when I was at university, actually when I was at college, we social media was a thing and we used social media actually to study. So YouTube, I remember, I can't remember, one of our lectures used to be on, can't remember the media platform now. He used to be on something and we used to go on to see what, like, I think it was something like Twitter. I can't remember the name. And we used to go on to see what his daily pop-up was to see. I mean, you can use social media as a means to study, means to research, to fight, to improve your knowledge or on something. But we can't not be spending 13 hours connecting with the outside world when we have our own goals to achieve, So, I mean, I stand by my words. Just ensure that we curb the socializing. It's like you're not going to go out 13 hours a day with your friends when you have 5, 6 subjects to study, you know? So it's the same with social media. It's socializing. If you're using it for socializing for X amount of time in the day, we need to curb it and say, okay, I'm going onto Instagram because I want to research this, or TikTok. I think there's a lot of educative things, that misinformation, but there's a lot of educative things on these platforms that our young people might want to engage in. Because I remember, I know that I use a lot of YouTube videos in my classrooms to educate students. So it could be used for that, but if it's socializing, we need to curb it. Manage our time wisely, manage our time properly.
Thank you so much,
Mrs. Question.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that.
There's an advice story, Mr. Ernest. There's an advice my dad gave me, and it may seem like it was so many years ago, but I just feel led to share. It's not something we talk about often. So my dad said to me when I was in my 6th form, not to even bother about any serious relationship, not to get into any, like, to be bothered about some boy, and for the boys to be bothered about a girl. And I later got to realize that the part of our brain that is really that gets intense in relationships is also needed to study as well, right? So it was one advice that really paid off. It's not, obviously, I mean, they're teenagers, hormones are raging, we get all of that, but honestly, I want to advise our 16 plus, those in 6th form, do not get yourself entangled in some serious relationship. You will have tons and tons of time for that level of intensity. It is not just what is needed for your 6th form. If you want to have a good relationship, get a study partner, get someone who you're reading together, you're studying together, like, oh, this person is better at maths than I am, and I'm better in economics, and I can help this person. Those are the kind of relationships that are healthy and helpful for sixth formers to form in their sixth form years. And finally, it may seem like it's just a few subjects or it's fewer than GCSE, but my goodness, the curriculum is so deep. It's so deep. There's a lot to cover within that one subject. It's like first year of university. So all that free time, there's a lot to do in that time, and don't get yourself into some serious, overly intense relationship. You'll have time for that later. That's my humble advice.
Thank you for that, Dr. Ale, because as I spoke, I actually remembered things like that. Even if it's platonic relationships, because some of the platonic relationships, especially I'm talking from a girl point of view, can also be intense. You do not want, because some of the
So
people
true.
you might meet in your younger years, 16, 17, you might not know in the next 5 years. You won't know where they are in the world. Okay. Make meaningful relationships, study partners, people who are moving you towards your goal. You do not need any relationship that's intense and affecting you, impacting you in such a way that it's taking you away from your goal, needs to be cut off. And I do not say that lightly.
You are so right. You know, those platonic, so-called platonic relationships. I don't know about the boys, but for us
Girls,
as girls, oh, it can
yeah,
actually be quite intense and
thanks.
quite a distraction, a
Yeah,
lot of emotional drama.
yeah,
And you see girls having to deal with that, and it actually
mm,
starts to impact their
yeah,
academic performance.
yeah,
So it is so true. So,
yeah.
so true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that beautiful insights. And of course, it's so important that our young people stay focused, our young people are able to set their priority, and focus on what is important at the moment, knowing for fully well that whatever uh, foundation they lay now would definitely have a great impact, in their future. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, Mrs. Benedict. I don't know if we
Thank
have
you.
any other question or reaction from anyone. We can quickly take that before we move into what we have next and wrap up for today. All right. Let's have a second to go through that. All right. I assume that we're fine with the whole that we've shared today. Thank you again, Ma, uh, for multitasking today with baby and the slide and your notes. It's really a multitasking activity today. So thank you again, Ma. And for all of us that have joined today, I really want to appreciate you. It's not easy to take at this time every fourth Sunday of the month to be with us as we try to inspire our young ones. We try to just get them to refocus and ensure that they are on the right path by bringing this sort of conversation to them every now and then. So I just want to appreciate us for being a part of this, and also to let us know, like I've mentioned, that we do this every fourth Sunday of the month. Every fourth Sunday of the month, we do this. And for next month being the 28th, the fourth Sunday being the 28th of September, we're going to be having another edition of this webinar. But that's like secrets. I will just keep what we will be discussing in our next webinar as a secret. So you can look forward to that, but you keep the date, mark it on your calendar at 8 p.m. same time. You don't want to miss it. And also,